Greetings, greetings, greetings. I want to do this talk today to continue on the theme of psychedelics and where they can take the human enterprise going forward, how they can assist us in understanding ourselves as human beings and the greater understanding of the world around us. I wanted to start by speaking about the imagination. Look around you. Everything around you, if you're in a building, somebody designed that building, someone designed the clothes that you're wearing, all your possessions. They all began as thoughts in the head. And then somebody found ways of manifesting those thoughts into stuff that can be experienced. This is our power as human beings. We have the power to take something we think about and make it into something physical that we can use. You have that power, we all have it. Now think about your most outlandish, crazy thought you can possibly imagine. Think about the most ridiculously crazy thing you can possibly think of. That thought is a ceiling. That's as far as you can think. What the psychedelic allows you to do is to see stuff above that ceiling of information that you think is possible to actually be experienced. It allows you to see stuff that you would never have ever thought of that could possibly exist. You see so many things when you're in a psychedelic vision that you cannot then bring back into words. You see stuff that exists outside of the A to Z alphabet, outside of the 1 to 0 number system. Again, pushing your perception of what is possible past these things, because these things become prisons for us. If there are things that operate outside of the alphabet, outside of our number system, we can't perceive them because we're so trapped within that as all there is. What you're seeing is not just colourful visions. You're seeing stuff that operates outside of physical matter. It's not imaginary matter. There's another aspect. There's something in between the physical and the mental that triangulates our human experience and allows us to actually have a third perspective point to then be able to perceive the physical world from, to be able to perceive the dream spirit world from. Most of us never go there. We go from birth to grave with never actually seeing this, and it means that we don't actually understand our potential. We've never actually had a good look out of our third eye. And this is what we have to do. Our two eyes do not give us a very wide perspective, even though they reveal a beautiful, vast world to us. They also keep us somewhat ignorant of what else is going on. What's going on behind your back right now? You can't see it. But we have a third eye which gives you a much wider peripheral view of some other place that is accessible to you in your human experience. And this is something that, to push forward as human beings, we need to individually, as a group, traditionally, move this experience back into our cultures, back into your family, back into your friends' circles, back into your religious practices. To really start to understand who we are, we need to embrace the visionary experience and find the ways to get there, which there are many. There are many psychedelic plants that will get you there. There are other psychedelic chemicals that will get you there. There are techniques that will get you there. Darkroom techniques. Sitting in the dark room for 2 weeks will get you there without a pinprick of light. Breathing techniques, holotropic breathing, will get you there. You lick a certain toad and the chemical on the toad will get you there. Whatever your God concept is, whoever made this planet has made it with several ways of getting us into this spiritual place. Find your way there. So much of what we do that we consider to be addictions, alcohol and drug dependency, is really a mask for us trying to find this place. This is what I really feel. We have a deep need to find something else that we're not currently experiencing. And what is behind it is, on a soul level, you yearn to find yourself to this place. It's looking for you, you're looking for it. Find each other. Something strange happened to me once in a psychedelic vision. I was given some information. See, the information I was given is that we live on this planet in a particular rule system of breathing in and out. This is something that we do on this particular existence plane. But this is not something that all existence does. There are other sentient, intelligent beings outside of our world who don't breathe in and out. And we were once those beings and will be those beings again. So when we actually do end our human life and stop breathing altogether, blood pressure drops, and DMT, dimethyltryptamine, which is the spirit molecule, floods into the body, taking you spiritually away from the body and into your next place of existence. Now we can actually have a look into that next place by taking DMT into our own bodies. DMT exists in many different plants. So we can find a DMT containing plant, we can inhale that into our body and hold your breath. If you can hold your breath, as long as you can hold your breath, the deeper into this state will be able to see. You'll be able to almost trick your body into thinking it's died and move you spiritually into this next place, because your body will be flooded with DMT. And then the psychedelic experience will begin, which I, having done a lot of research on the end of life experience and what people say happens to them in the end of life experience, I really believe that we are actually looking into that post-life place by taking these substances. And when you see what people say when they come back from the near-death experience, for instance, you see parents who have young children that they've left on this planet, and they've gone into the near-death experience and they've met beings and they've had a beautiful experience, and they've said they didn't want to leave this place. I wanted to stay, they say. They would happily have left their children and families, responsibilities on this planet and stayed there because they were in such contentment there. This is what is available to have a glimpse at in the psychedelic experience. Imagine we all did this as a rite of passage from childhood to adulthood. We all had the opportunity to look into this place and to understand the human condition in a much more expanded way. Maybe we wouldn't be so fearful of the death experience, not knowing what's going to happen after we die. Maybe we'd be much better at that. Death is considered to be the worst thing that could possibly happen. When somebody dies of a disease, they've lost their fight to the disease. You've lost, you're a loser for dying. We've not seen value in death. We have a whole medical system set up just to keep people alive, while offering no real visionary support. I've been with relatives through the last weeks of life in hospice care, for instance, and they're pumped full of opiates to stop the pain, but given nothing to actually expand their minds and understand their current position from a far more visionary, expanded state. When this has happened, there has been many trials now where they've given psilocybin, which is the active chemical in the magic mushroom, to terminally ill people, and they've come back having a great experience, at peace with their situation, and in a much better position to have a good death. And this is something that we've lacked and we've not done, and we need to do in order to improve the human condition. I wanted to give some advice on how to do psychedelics. What's the best way to do it? Some people say go to the forest, play some music maybe. Some people say sit in darkness and silence. I'm an advocate for both of these particular ways. I've been in the forest, for instance, on LSD, and had a fantastic experience on LSD in the forest. It all came to life. I was given information and knowledge from the trees and the water, and amazing experience. And I was playing music, which absolutely I felt on whole other levels than I'd ever felt before, and it was just beautiful. Saying that, I've also had several psychedelic experiences in silent darkness, naked, away from everything, and that has also been extremely beautiful. The music comes from within. I've had situations, certainly on the mushroom, where the music came from within me. An orchestra of voices and music and instruments came up from me, and I was singing with it. And I thought to myself, wow, if I was playing music now, I would have not heard this. This is amazing. So the main thing you need to do is be in a position where your body is looked after, where nobody is going to mess with your body. You can lay down and just leave your body and go. Be around people you trust if you have to be around people at all. So look after your body and let your mind go. Surrender to the experience. Know it's going to be over. When it's over, don't fight the experience. Bad trips happen when you start to fight the experience. If you are going through a tough time, if you are seeing things that are tough to deal with and feeling things that are painful to you, because it will dig up things that are in you, those past traumas that you've not dealt with will come up. You'll get the opportunity to go back though. Let's say you had a childhood incident where you had some childhood trauma. You can go back as yourself today, the adult you can go and meet that child, console that child, heal that pain. And I've done that before on psychedelics. So again, there's so much opportunity to really heal, better yourself and move forward totally. Let this intelligent being, this intelligence, there is an intelligence, a deep intelligence that knows you. It knows where you've been, and this is what's such a miracle about this thing. It knows you. Certainly ayahuasca and psilocybin, this stuff seems to go into your being, and it knows where you've come from, and it digs out things from you. It's the greatest healer that we have, available to us all. Nature's gift. So, when you take psychedelics, what I believe is happening, how I think you are seeing the visions, where the visions actually are that you are seeing, is that you are seeing outside of the normal human visual band within the electrical magnetic spectrum that is normally available to human beings. You are seeing stuff that happens outside of that particular very small bandwidth. There is a whole electromagnetic spectrum, and as humans we can only see a paper thin slither of what's really going on. And I believe that what we are seeing is going on outside of our normal bandwidth. Who else can see outside of this though? I believe that when we are born, we can see far more than what we can actually see once we grow up. But part of the game is that we can't speak it. So when you look at a newborn child, a baby that is in those first formative years, you'll see them looking up at things, transfixed at something in the corner of the room. And you think, what the hell are they looking at? There's nothing there. Or they might be looking over your shoulder, not looking at you, but looking at things that seem to be around you. What are they seeing? I believe at that stage, you can see far more than what you can see once you grow up, and the information that you then receive when we are educated by our parents and teachers, we are given a particular focus. And when we are focused in this particular worldly direction, we in time forget all these other things we can see. You see children with childhood imaginary friends, for instance. Well, are they just really making it up, or are they actually in tune with other beings that are outside of what you and I as adults can see? I believe that's actually what's happening. It's a hunch. Also, animals. We know that dogs and cats do something very similar. They seem to interact with things that we can't see. And also people who we call schizophrenic. We have people who say they can see certain things and they hear certain things that normal people can't see and hear. And in this society, such is our lack of understanding, that we take these people and we drug them. We tell them that they're sick, and we do everything we can to stop them having these experiences. In older traditional shamanic cultures, if somebody came to their elders and said, I can hear voices, I can see things, those people would be revered. They would be fast-tracked to the top of that society. Wow, you can hear the voices, you can see the visions. Well, we want to know what you have to say. We value that information. We want to make you the top priests, and you'll be the people that we will gather around and listen to. We've totally got this the other way around in this current society. So if you are somebody who does have those sorts of experiences, come and talk to me. I'm very interested to hear about it. I wanted to give a little information on some of the things that have happened to me personally on psychedelics. I've had some very interesting experiences. I was in Bali once upon a time, and I managed to source a good portion of mushrooms, maybe about 10 grams of these Bali mushrooms, very small white, very blue mushrooms. I went to my hotel room, I switched the lights off, went into the darkness, took all my clothes off, and in darkness and silence I took this dose of mushrooms. Before long, I was confronted face to face with a lion-faced being, a very wise. It seemed to be cloaked, I wasn't sure, but it was a lion face looking directly into my eyes. Within the eyes was total intelligence and wisdom. It seemed to be communicating with me without talking. It then showed me a vision of a human male body. It then started dissecting the body in different ways and showing me all the geometry and mathematics within the human form. It then showed me other lessons in alchemy and geometry, sacred geometry. Very interesting experience. I also saw myself become some sort of metallic, cybernetic, transformerish looking being. Those were a couple of the things. There was also a very cartoon-like world that was open to me as well. Again, very difficult to put into a coherent story because it doesn't happen like that. It comes in visions and visions and visions, not a linear story. The ayahuasca has taken me to some very alien worlds. I've had it in Costa Rica, fantastic experience there, and also in Holland. Had a very special, my first time was in Holland, and had an amazing experience there as well, where I was shown tech in space. I was with animals. I was running through the trees with an animal race of advanced sort of gorillas, all sorts of neon lights all leading the way through the trees. We were dressed in some sort of tribal clothing. I also saw African tribes surrounded by African tribesmen who were dancing this beautiful life and death dance around me. Also in Costa Rica, I had a vision of a beach with this beautiful pinky orange sky, and these huge bejeweled black women. They were covered in jewels all around their necks and on their hands, very richly dressed, laying on this beach. They were huge. They were like giants. Also, I was under the ground. It's like one of these animals that live in the ground, like a worm or some sort of bug that lives underground. And I was shown a very... You think these things are in total darkness. I was shown that these things are actually in a very bright world as they go through this underworld, because they are tuned in to another part of the spectrum where they can see in the dark. And it's a very beautiful, very colourful world that they see. But I was going through the undergrowth, definitely. And I've flown as birds before. I've seen the cells going through the body, changing composition, changing into different things as they move into different parts of the body. To name a few things, you know, I could sit all day and say all the different things that have happened to me on psychedelics, but again, it's just always stuff that you could never imagine experiencing. Mind-blowing stuff. And what will happen to you will be something totally different. So then don't let what I've said colour your own perception of what might happen to you. I've also seen myself sort of become different aspects of myself, break away into different parts. I looked at myself in the mirror once after smoking DMT, and I saw, it seemed like what I see as just being me is made up of several different beings, and they started to reveal themselves coming out of me in different ways. Again, strange but true. So what I'm actually getting at is that there is value in getting out of your mind. There is value in experiencing madness, going totally batshit crazy for a while. I think we spend a lot of time trying to keep hold of our sanity, stay sane. But I really think to be mad, turn crazy mad, batshit bloody off your head, get out of your fucking mind, totally out of your mind. Hold your mind out of your head and have a good look at what you've made. This is what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with the fact that you have created, and this is a lesson that psychedelics do give me, that when you do get out of your mind, you can see the you that you've created. You can see your belief systems, the thought patterns, negative and positive, that you've gotten yourself into. You can take it out and look at it subjectively, and then go back into that life. Then make a decision. What serves you? What do you want to continue to believe? What do you want to continue to live? Are there destructive ways of living that you are doing? Well, make a decision to stop that then. But it's very difficult. It's like trying to see your hand if it's right in front of you like this. You can't see it because it's too close to you. You have to pan out, and then you can see, once you pan away, you can see what is right in front of your eyes, what you're doing, what's influencing you. Get out of your mind. We have a unique opportunity right now as human beings. Psychedelics have been around since around the 1940s. We have almost 80 years of information, of knowledge. We have an internet of information available to us. This is something that the original psychedelic people in the 1940s, 50s, 60s and 70s didn't have that sort of connectedness. They didn't have the information. We, in this day and age where psychedelics are going through a renaissance, where all across the world people are coming back into this knowledge and information, people are going down to the Amazon to drink ayahuasca, people are seeking out mushrooms, people are in professional circles microdosing psychedelics to expand their thought processes. People are looking at psychedelics to help to cure anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder. It's coming back out, and it's coming back into our society, and it's not going to be able to be suppressed for very long. We have an opportunity to handle the psychedelics now far more respectfully and with far more knowledge than we did probably in the 1960s and 70s. Potentially things did get a little out of control then. Now we have the opportunity to really go into these things fully knowing what we're doing, and to really use these things to expand the human enterprise way beyond where we are currently. Anyway, more to come later. Thank you very much for listening.